Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button and check today's topics in the description box. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Excited to finally discuss Kendrick's album. I don't know if this is the most anticipated session we've ever had, but fuck, dude. I don't know. I feel like when we said chatting offline, I'm like, oh, save for the pod, save for the pod. I don't want to hear you. But how you been, dude? Otherwise, before we jump into it,
been good. Same old same. I guess the only difference now for me, life related and work related, is that because of the whole COVID scare that we had a week or so ago.
Dude, numbers are going up. You mentioned that to me, and then I just saw an article in New York that they're debating about bringing masks back. I'm like, damn, it's summer, dog.
No, they're mandating it in the office. And they're basically also saying if you just want to work from home completely for now, that's fine if you're worried or concerned. So it's weird because we were just getting in the flow of regular coming in a few days, and now it's just back to people doing what they want. My boss, her boss, none of them were in today. I didn't even get the memo. I found out after I showed up. Oh, so
you were legit there by yourself?
Not by myself, but there was only 7 people in the office. So we all just dipped after lunch because there was no point. So, I mean, this is kind of my dream come true, but at the same time, I like structure and a definitive answer on things sometimes. So I just want to know, for instance, if I visit you, I won't have to fucking take PTO and all this shit. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because offline, Blair and his wife sent me a screenshot of a ticket they might book to come see me in Florida. I was like, yo, thank God. Because I was in my mind, yo, I don't think the math works out. When is it gonna happen? So yeah. I was excited. No, but I feel you back to the structure part, because dude, especially last year, this year not so much, but last year at my job, it was the moment they took the steadfast rule, all right, we're gonna go all in, back to 3 days a week, boom. Delta outbreak. It's oh, never mind, stay home. It's bro, which one is it, bro? But I get it. I feel with this thing, it'd be stupid for any major government or company to take a stance, because dude, this shit is so fluid, bro. No one knows anything. I think the only thing we know thus far is that if you get it and you aren't obese or have something lingering, that you're gonna be fine. But
right.
They can't take that chance and someone says they got it at work and drops dead. So I get it.
For sure. Yeah, otherwise things are good. I think for me, just really looking to travel again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see when the next trip for me is.
Nice. I actually have a trip coming up to Houston, Texas. Never been before, so
dope.
I'm excited for that this coming weekend. But yeah, just get into the episode 109, I believe it is. Yep. But it could just be called the Kendrick Lamar episode. We're only talking about the album. So if for whatever reason you haven't heard the album yet, this is a spoiler alert for you. I don't know where the fuck you've been doing for the last 5 days on this planet. But yeah, man, just your overall thoughts, dude. Mr. Moral and the Big Steppers. What your thought on this? I guess officially his 5th body of work.
Yep. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I treated it like a holiday almost. I set up the hookah. I set up my office.
I was so jealous that you get to it's only 9:00 when this shit drops.
Yeah,
I know.
That's the
I'm struggling.
I
sent you a picture. I got through 3 songs. I'm yo, it's fire, but I'm so tired.
Yeah, no, I fortunately had the time to go through both albums. And yeah, I mean, I was blown away. I think I knew what I was gonna get, and he delivered on it.
Did you know based off just the Heart Part 5 thing, or?
I think the Heart Part 5 in the album title, I was like, he's probably not going to be doing a bunch of club bangers and shit. He seemed like he was in a very introspective place to where he was going to have a message and wouldn't be just waiting 5 years to just throw us a few club records and standard West Coast shit. I didn't expect that to happen, and I knew he was gonna go this route. Obviously, I had no idea what it would sound like or who would be featured or anything, but everything just seemed to make sense. I liked the fact that he was vulnerable and talked about traumas, but he didn't go too deep into politics to where it seemed cringy or he was pandering or something.
Well, not cringy to us, but cringy to some people. We'll get
cringy to some people. But yeah, I feel like he delivered. I feel like the wait, at least for me, was worth it. it did leave me wanting more now because I'm like, this shit is dope. This can't be the last thing he does. And I doubt it'll be the last time we hear from him. And I know we'll get to the conversation later, but yeah, overall, thought it was super solid. Maybe part of it has to do with the fact that Future and Jack Harlow didn't do too much for me in terms of their releases. So this shit was just an extra breath of fresh air. So yeah, I thought
it's funny. Like I really want to pick up from like that line of like it left you wanting more, because you wouldn't think like a double album would leave you wanting more, but then like I feel like everyone really took it as like 9 songs at a time. So once you're done, you're like, I mean, I could do 9 more. You know what I mean? Right. So like I definitely agree with that, dude. Like honestly, so it dropped Friday, midnight, and then like Thursday night for you. I didn't get a chance to work out, so I did my fucking best to stay off social and not talk, because I didn't listen to it till Saturday morning, like fully. And I was like at the gym, like, yo, this is good. All right, I see what you're trying to do here. And then Saturday night, I fully took a deep dive at the crib under some like really like good settings. And I was like, bro, this guy is a genius. Like, it's just, it puts all the GOAT talk to bed. Right, because I think we always remove Jay-Z and Nas from the like you're 50 plus, like you had your time, right? As far as like people who are actually out here, I think the Denzel Curry tweet is phenomenal. Like when Denzel Curry's, and I'll put the tweet up, while we're with this post, like the Denzel Curry tweet of like CLB and Donda could have been so much more because you guys have all the money in the world, like that exactly, dude. Like if you have the ability to get the best production ever, why wouldn't you do that on every fucking beat? You know what I mean? I feel like Kendrick did that. And like the background and like, it was a movie, dog. Like we'll go into some songs, like our favorite songs shortly, but that one, the one with the girl that he's going back and
Taylor
forth,
Page,
Taylor Page, shout out to her. She was in the movie
something While We Cry or something.
Oh, we cried together. Right, dude, that song is a movie. And like the way it starts off, you think it's gonna be some completely. I thought it was gonna be like a Florence and the Machine feature. You know what I mean? Because the way it starts off, it's so opera-like. Right. And then it goes to like the most toxic shit in the world within like 10 seconds. You're like, yo, this is. And the way it ends, you're like, dude, this is like the perfect description of a toxic relationship that the majority of people are in, but don't post about it because obviously, like, people should know about it, bro. Like, so like that was one example to me that this guy is like living or just thinking about shit in ways that other rappers just aren't, bro. Like, I think to our point last week, like, the way he says something about like Nipsey passing away, and like, let me say it from his perspective, like other rappers aren't thinking that way. And if they are, they don't have the skill set to actually verbalize it in a clever way in song and video. So I just felt that way throughout the fucking album, bro. I'm like, yo, this is genius, bro. Like, genius.
And to ironically quote Drake, I'm pretty sure he said, it's not about who did it first, it's about who did it right. And the reason why I say that is the song We Cry Together. I saw in the comments of YouTube people saying, well, the RZA did this first with his song Domestic Violence, which I'd never heard, but I listened to it. I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, he did kind of do this concept first, but the way Kendrick did it isn't even in the same galaxy as far as what RZA did it. Like, his was like just kind of, it just wasn't smooth. It didn't feel like a movie script. Like, if Kendrick does a music video for this, like,
it might win an Oscar. It'll be the first YouTube thing to win an Oscar.
Right, bro. Like, exactly. I'm like, as soon as I heard that song, I'm like, there's no fucking way he can get away with not doing a music video for this. He deserves an Oscar.
It's not out yet though, right?
No, but he executed it flawlessly. So I don't really believe in the whole, well, this guy did it first, so he deserves all the praise. Yeah, and no art is ever truly 1,000% like original. It's
inspired from somewhere. I can pick a few lines from the album that he like stole from Jay, but made it clever that it was like, all right, whatever. Like, it's, if anything, it's like paying homage kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, phenomenal body of work. We'll get to the ratings later on. But dude, and I also felt like, staying on the whole movie tip, like, dude, what a supporting role by Kodak Black. Like, bro, just phenomenal. Like, the idea of that is genius, especially when, everyone who like knows hip hop has been saying like, yo, Kodak is low key kind of genius, but he's so crazy. Like no one's ever gonna take him, serious.
It's
right?
still weird to me.
Yeah, but the fact that he gets this cosign and that he leans into it with like one of those lines like, oh, what's Kodak doing with a legend? And he's like, what does that make me? Kind of a thing. Yeah, I was like, bro, this is just like, I know he wrote this shit, but like in my mind, I'm like, maybe Kendrick wrote that shit for him. But either way, like just having him on like multiple parts of the album throughout, well, I guess the double CD, whatever, but like that was just, dude, like, and there was a supporting actor of the year in hip hop, like that was it for like it reminded me of like of Common on Kid Cudi's first album, Dark Side. You know what I mean? Like just those moments of it that really just set the tone for whatever the next song is gonna be.
Yeah. I know throughout that when I noticed Kodak was on it, I mean, I'm sure Kendrick obviously likes him musically, but part of me wondered if he tapped into him because he kind of symbolizes
like the other extreme.
The hood struggle, like the other extreme, like he's in and out of jail all the time.
Yo, my nigga,
like,
he just got shot a month ago.
Yeah, like
remember,
he
like
represents
literally
the rapper, like we all fucking see go downhill, but he somehow has been triumphant throughout all of that.
Yeah, dude. No, facts, bro. Like, because dude, I feel like with this album, like there's so many different analogies everyone can pull of trying to understand what he was trying to say. Like, obviously, some are obvious, but then some are like with Kodak. That's a great point. Like, is he there because he's just leaning in because people have said that, hey, Kodak is a kind of a version of Kendrick, like the next, breed? Or is it because like, no, he is me, but just the me that I had to leave behind to become this version? Like that's a very unique take,
Yeah. So that, I was thinking about that throughout. Obviously, it's led to a ton of unexpected controversy I did not see coming at all. But
so get into that because I wasn't really in the comments because I really tried to like just have my own opinion when it came to this album.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear about it until, a couple of days ago and someone asked me about it. But I think people are upset that Kendrick got involved with Kodak for this album because I guess he was accused of, I'm not going to say the word because I want our video to be, not to be demonetized.
Like sexual assault?
Yeah, sexual assault with, I believe an underage girl or like she was in high school. Either way, super young and regardless of age, obviously a heinous act.
Sure.
So that was the big outcry from certain people on Twitter and such saying, why would you do a song with him when he was accused of this? Or I think he pled guilty even. I don't know the whole legality of it, but
sure.
Either way, he was involved in this situation. And a lot of people were just like, yo, if you're accused of this once even, you should just, and you're trying to be this conscious rapper with a message and shit, you should just avoid people like that at all costs. I think that's the sentiment.
Yeah, that's a wild take, bro, because I feel like, especially because I was thinking back to this, like when I was listening to the Kodak part specifically, I remember back in 2017, like Kendrick was the only one that stood up for XXXTentacion when Spotify was trying to cancel him back then. Remember, like Spotify took him like off all the playlists, and Kendrick was like, even though he's not signed to Kendrick, was like, bro, I will remove all my music if you don't put this kid back on, right? So I feel like, and XX had some wild allegations as well. Yeah. So for me, it actually felt normal because I can see Kendrick putting his arm around someone and saying, bro, whatever happened in the past, who am I to judge you, moving forward, just try to move a better way. So I don't know. For me, like, I don't like, again, if it's the heinous thing, sure. Like, I didn't know the legality of it as well. But like, I can also be like, can we really judge someone for what they did when they were like 19 for the rest of their life? Like, yes, we can have an opinion on it. Yeah. But like, are we really going to cancel anyone? Like,
right. And that's the tricky thing. I feel like it's a very subjective question because I was thinking about it myself. Like, for instance, with Chris Brown, like there was a girl at work at a company I was working at a few years ago, and I was saying that I was going to a Chris Brown concert, and she's like, kind of like looked at me with disgust, like I don't like that guy, blah blah. And in my head, I'm like,
associated you with beating West Indian women?
I mean, I don't know if she went that far with it. Hopefully not shit. But but in my head, I'm like, okay, so he served time. The victim forgave him. Like at this point, what do you want him? Do you want him to die? And maybe so, but I feel like it all depends. And someone could argue, well, what if that was your daughter? Obviously, from that subjective standpoint, as a human being, you're going to feel differently about everything. But I think the point is human beings don't ever want to be objective because we're emotional creatures. So in this instance, I feel Kendrick, especially with the XXX example, like, okay, let's say we do take him off. Then we got to go through every fucking artist on the planet that has done something or said something ridiculous. And then basically fucking 80% of the artists are gone overnight. So I think Kendrick is just obviously alluded to cancel culture and it being ridiculous. And he also, it seems like wants people to be more
open-minded, bro. Like
open-minded and sympathetic to like what might cause a person to be a certain way. Like
100%, bro.
People aren't just
100%.
evil just because they're evil. Like their environment contributes to that. But I get how people would be upset, but still, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but even I don't get, because I feel like the same people making similar comments are the same people who like praise Kodak Black on like some other on another. It's like, bro, like, point. Do you hate him or do you love him? Because like, yo, when he did like a little skit for Barstool for like a 30-minute, the world, like the internet broke. They're like, yo, he's so funny, he's so charismatic. It's like, yo, which one is it, dude? Like, like he's okay to go on that platform, but because like Kendrick is talking about more conscious stuff, like that's not okay. So now you're offended. Like,
I think they're mad. They're secretly mad because he's now being associated with like a positive message and person, or at least positive message and the Barstool stuff and other things. Like it kind of just makes him look like a goofy kid or whatever. It doesn't look like it's elevating his career and his like, character, I guess.
Yeah, you can't box him in when you now if he's an associate of Kendrick, like you just glowed up to like a different level. Right, exactly. And I think people don't want to see that because now if he's in the conversation with Kendrick, it's almost like his character is completely washed of all sin and everything he's done before, and now he's like the spokesman of hip hop, and people are just salty about that shit. Yeah, I can see that, bro. Because like, yo, why is this 25-year-old kid? I think he's that young. I might be crazy, but I think he's like 25. 20. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's definitely under 30. Yeah, for sure. So I can see a lot of like jealousy from that. But yeah, it's back to the album, bro. Like I think what stood out to me as well, dude, it felt like I only felt this because like I go to therapy and have been going to therapy for the last 2 years. This felt like letting people in to your like therapy sessions, right? Mm-hmm. And then I did some research, like I guess at the beginning of a couple songs, there's someone like the music stops and someone reads like a man's name, and like it's like a famous like German like psychiatrist at the beginning of, I think it's Count Me Out. They say the guy's name, I can't think about it off the top of my head, but like that's what it feels like, bro. It feels like Kendrick is letting us in to his like this like therapeutic session for him. And like it deals with all the things, right? Like social commentary, right? It deals with his insecurities as like not having his father around completely or whatever. Auntie's Diaries, which is fucking another wild fucking song. Like all these things, bro. And it just felt like, dude, these 5 years were like the most taxing. That they should have probably been the most enjoyable for him. Right? He dropped Damn, dude, renowned for being an absolute classic in any genre immediately. But it just feels like these last 3 years specifically were like so taxing for him. It was just like, yo, I need to get this shit out, but like my way. Like, like to your point, like, you're not gonna get a club banger. Like you're gonna get me fucking properly just dissecting all these like crazy thoughts in my head. And dude, like I feel like it's hard to get critical of someone. I mean, we can go back to the Jack Harlow point. It's hard to be critical of someone when you at least know they're trying to be vulnerable and try new things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to like criticize them for that. And again, then it's also very well done, massively produced and engineered, and like top-notch lyrics. And I really know there's not much we could ask for. Right. And I feel like the people who enjoyed this the most, for obvious reasons, can I identify with a lot about what he's talking about? Not necessarily like I'm not implying that people have transgender aunts and stuff. Dude, I think he's what mid-30s, early 40s, like that range. Like, bro, that's a massive demographic of men who are going through similar situations. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like
And
everyone's had that toxic fight with their girl. Like they may not want to admit it, but bro, that's happened multiple times. And then you end up fucking. You're like, I guess it wasn't that big a deal. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And it was very clear to me that a lot of people who are mature enough to admit that, you know, some of these things they can identify with, they enjoyed it the most. I'm sure like a 17-year-old who maybe has never had those arguments, maybe doesn't know anyone who's been abused or whatever the case is.
Right.
I could see why it might be hard for them to digest this and give a shit. But for me, it was super dope. The production made it even more amazing because it wasn't some dry, like,
no, it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't make it feel preachy. Like,
right, it didn't feel preachy at all.
It wasn't club bangers, but dude, it was, you were definitely bopping your head aggressively to a few tracks.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why I appreciate it so much. And not many artists have been doing that to that extent, at least. And it kind of makes it difficult to blame other artists for not doing that if they didn't necessarily experience these things. Like Kendrick obviously didn't choose his upbringing in life. Right. So he's fortunately was able to turn that trauma into a career and an art form that we can appreciate. But at the end of the day, I really think the way he's able to articulate it in the music is definitely unmatched. And I'm just, in a weird way, like really proud of him, even though I don't know him. Like,
yeah, that's just a great take. Yeah,
that he was able to take the time to create a body of work that actually means something. Again.
Yeah, because dude, because it's a lot of bodies of work that mean something now with him. But to your point a while ago, like, so, like, not to blame other rappers again, like, no one can, you know, we can't, it's my story's not like yours, so like it's not my fault, whatever. Like, I get your take on that, but like, should we blame other rappers who do have a very high level of skills when it comes to writing lyrics that don't go full vulnerability on their tracks and just like almost pigeonhole themselves to like, well, this is my persona, I'm not fucking changing it. You know what I mean? Like, should we get mad at them?
I would say no, but at the same time, I think it's gonna be hard for them to make the case of like, oh, I'm top 5 then, because like what we were talking about with Jack Harlow, it's like, if you want to do the more poppy stuff that maybe doesn't have as much substance, that's totally fine, because I love that kind of music. But don't be rapping about how you're smoking top 5s and shit if all you can rap about is like some bitch's tits. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And that's why even when I make yeah, like you can't be doing that shit and then be top 5 next day. And that's why, like, even when I think about myself and my music, like, I know, you know, whether my art might be better than this or that person, but I'm just focused on making stuff I want to make. And I'll have a mix of stuff where I'm vulnerable or not, but I'm not gonna make a bunch of club records and then claim that I'm better than fucking Tupac, Kendrick, and Lupe.
Yeah, where's the variety? Like, where's like the range, right? Like, it can't be one dimension. I feel that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's gonna be hard. I think people are going to criticize whatever they want. That's fine. That's the beauty of like America and the you know, it's opinion-based, you know, culture we live in. But man, it was just a beautiful body of work, bro. Like, just, you know, from beginning to end. Obviously, some songs stood out than more. Some songs I was like, all right, whatever. To me, again, this one is so vulnerable that the songs that really don't even come close to something you've been through, you're like, all right, I get what you're trying, but that's just not for me. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate the shock factor of like Auntie Diaries, but I'm like, all right, I don't need to hear that song 10 times. You won't replay it again. Yeah, like, I don't need to.
Like, I didn't add it to my playlist, but it was like a moment. Almost.
Yeah, like, dude, I respect it, dude. That's a fucking, dude, the way you can fucking verbalize that creatively, and it's amazing. But I'm
just imagining you bumping Auntie Diaries in the gym, like going hard.
In the gym, like going wild, like, bro, she's a man now. I'm like, yes. Yeah, so like, yeah, like stuff like that. But like, especially, dude, if you're like a 30-year-old to 43-year-old man, bro, this has to hit you some other way, bro, because you lived through, at this point, got like all those you've had a dad that either was or wasn't there. You've had a mom who you've let down. You have a family member who's gone through some wild shit. You've gone through some wild shit. Like, yo, that's like the unique thing, which again, I think we love about Drake at times as well. We get sad when he doesn't do it. It's like, yo, they can just tap in to like exactly your human emotions. And it's like, fuck, dude, like, even if I don't love this beat, like, yo, yes, I'm going through exactly this. Like, that's pretty special.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, hopefully more artists will do that. I think what people need to realize is it's possible to make a good song that slaps and still be vulnerable. Like, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive where it's like either bitches or like some boring ass open mic type thing where you're just spitting a bunch of shit to your therapist, basically. Like, it can be a blend. Mac Miller did it very well, so clearly possible.
Yeah, and Mac and Kendrick were boys, I heard, actually. They had like 2 or 3 songs
I'm not
together.
surprised.
Yeah, 2 or 3 songs together.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Questions? Oh, no, that's Lil Wayne.
That's Lil Wayne. No, there's like at least 2 songs I've heard of Kendrick and Mac.
Oh, you can't fight the feeling. That's what it is.
Yeah, which is pretty wild if you think about it. I mean, they were both very young at the time, but like clearly Kendrick was older, and the fact that he still was like, come on, man, I know you're different. Let's go to music. Right. Shout out to them. But yeah, but great body of work. So let's jump into looking back at the 18 tracks, part 1, part 2, 9 and 9. Which one did you appreciate the most? Well, I guess enjoyed the most is a better phrase.
Enjoyed the most. I mean, I was first blown away by part 1 just because it was literally the start of the album. But after I had a chance to listen to everything, I mean, based on what I took away and added, like part 2 was definitely, I think, my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know, just like Savior and
Savior's fire,
Count Me Out, like those are my top 2 songs I think from the album. And then the Kodak track was just a smooth switch up. I don't know, it just I feel like the production in the second half had more of a soulful vibe to it that just really stuck with me. And I think that's also when he got like super deep with Auntie Diaries and Mother I Sober. And even though those 2 tracks are definitely not things I'm gonna probably ever listen to again, I think it just left me with this overall feeling of relief. It just felt very therapeutic. And again, Savior and Count Me Out, I don't know, they're just fire songs that I feel like are the highlight for me.
For sure. So dude, I want to ask you this because I felt this. So on Mother I Sober, that line that he has where he's like, you've never felt grief until you feel it sober. Did that hit you differently?
It did. I mean, not necessarily as hard as any other part. Like, I feel like all of it just hit me almost equally hard, but I definitely resonated with the sentiment with that one.
Yeah, because that hit me hard, bro. Because like, you know, we're 2 years removed from my mom passing, 1.5 years from your brother passing, and like for me at least, like, dude, like I know, I mean, these they still happen to me. Those days where I just like wake up crying or like I'm just sad, right? And there's nothing to do to numb that pain, right? So like that hit me hard because like I've had moments where like I'm drinking and like, damn, a thought pops in and I'm sad, but it's almost like I'm able to like, you know, move on. Yeah. But like, dude, it's like that, those random sober thoughts that are like just crippling because you're just like, fuck, man, there's nothing right now that's gonna make this go away besides like you're forced to face it, kind of a thing. So like that line hit me hard. I was like, ooh, that's a bar right there, dude.
Ironically for me, I think, I mean, it obviously varies, but sometimes when I am drinking and I'm like alone or with 1 or 2 people, like the grief actually starts to come and I'm like,
oh, really?
It just depends on what mood I am, but sometimes I get sad and will like think about like fun times because I'm having fun or supposed to be.
So you would have been with your brother.
Yeah. So things like that. So it definitely varies. I mean, there's obviously been days where like it was noon and like for no fucking reason I'll just like think about him and like cry for like 5 minutes or whatever. But
for sure.
I think that's why we appreciate the vulnerability with him so much.
Yeah, dude. Again, if you're a younger demographic like us, but has been through life, you understand like these things are real things, dude. Do you know what for me? So before I answer the part 1 or part 2 question, and yet to be clear, you said part 2 was your favorite of the two, right? Or you're leaning that way?
It's tough. I'm leaning that way. I looked at part 1. I'm like, fuck. Like, there's a lot of
really good songs, but I think the like to your point, the flow of part 2.
Yeah, the flow of part 2 is when like it really started to hit me. Yeah. Part 1 was like entertaining and fun as fuck. Part 2 was like, damn, this shit is like hitting my soul.
Yeah, I feel that. So, but what's funny for me though is that I think the way he was holding the 2 double CDs, I thought it was gonna be like Mr. Moral and The Big Step. I thought it was like gonna be 2 different sounds.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So that's why I really like dove in Saturday night again, because I'm like, I think this is like a back and forth thing. I don't think this is just like one clear thought, right? Which makes sense because, like, you know, when you're talking, like, we could be talking about one thing and jump something. So like that was genius. But like in my mind, like I went into listening session like thinking it was gonna be that way. So like that's what threw me off a little bit, but in a very positive way. But I'm glad you thought that, because I thought it was the only one. I'm like, wait, it's not like, I think they're saying Big Step Up More in part 2. So is this the Big Step Up part, or is it the first part? Like, I don't know what's happening. So I'm glad I'm not going crazy. But dude, for me, I'm gonna go with part 1. Even though my favorite song is on part 2, Count Me Out. Like, that's just my favorite song of the entire body of work. But I know for me, part 1 just had like, dude, it felt like relentless, like just force of content. Like United in Grief, N95, Die Hard is a great song. Father Time, Ridiculous, Rich Spirit, Fire. And then you have We Cry Together, which is a movie. And you're like, dude, this is just a fucking force. Like, what am I listening to? So for me, that's why like part 1 was just my favorite, because it was just like again, I'm not saying hits, but just nonstop moments of just like, wow, like this is insane. Like, so yeah, that's why I think for me, part 1 was my favorite.
You know what? I'm going to change my mind, because now that I look at it, I feel like part 1, if I had to choose, even though Count Me Out and Savior are my favorite songs, if I had to choose one album to keep,
you're going to replay part 1 over.
Part 1 would be the one I would choose for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. Because I would say Savior, Silent Hill, and Count Me Out are the ones. Because like even Crown, like, and maybe it's just because like I can appreciate what he's saying, but I don't think I'm the king at anything yet. So even like that specific thought of mine didn't resonate with me as much, because like I'm like only because like again, like we hear these rappers boasting shit all the time and we enjoy it. But when this is so vulnerable, you kind of just latch on to the shit you can relate to. Whereas that one, I'm like, that's not me yet, you know? So.
Yeah. As much as I love to bang Mother I Sober and Aunt Diaries in the gym, part 1's definitely the move. You know what I was thinking though? I know you mentioned Die Hard, but I was talking about this with my brother Corey and Mickey, and I thought Blast, he did a phenomenal job, as he usually does, but I couldn't help but think the verse kind of reminded me of something Ty Dolla $ign would write. I don't think he did based on the credits, but I was like, I wonder if Ty Dolla $ign, how he would have sounded on it, and if it would have sounded a bit better or more unique. But in any case, Blast killed it. But
yeah, he did. He definitely killed it. Yeah. And that female artist, I don't know who she is, but she also killed
her
it.
Voice is angelic as hell. Amanda Reifer.
Yeah, dude, really, really good. But dude, my thing with Ty Dolla $ign, I know we had that phase, especially when we were at Coachella 3 years ago, that he like, you know, he was the feature of the year for everyone. But dude, I also sometimes think he can like overpower a song. And like it always becomes like a Ty Dolla $ign song.
Yeah.
So I feel like with these features, they're very selective, because like it's either a voice that just needs to be like spotlighted on, or it's a voice that you don't really know that doesn't overwhelm like the scene, right? I keep bringing this back to a movie. Like you can't have a movie. I mean, you can, but usually like our bus. Like you can't have too many stars in a movie. You know, like you need the lead actor, and then you need everyone to play their role. I feel like even though like Ty Dolla $ign is the feature king, sometimes his features like, oh, this is just really his song, and you also are on the song. So like,
yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about it that way. Especially because I don't think in that song Kendrick is like, it's not like he's shouting or like
right,
all kinds of crazy shit. He's just
it's really all three of their songs.
Yeah, it's all three of them. That's a good way to
so
put
I think
it.
it's Ty Dolla would be like, no, this is my shit.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So that's that. So let's go then to top 3 songs. I think you kind of hinted at it already, but what were your top 3 songs from the overall body?
For me, no particular order. I think Count Me Out might be my favorite, but Count Me Out, Savior for sure. And then last but not least, probably Die Hard, I would say.
Yeah, Die Hard's good, bro.
Yeah.
Die Hard is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for me, Count Me Out is Count Me Out the one is that a Pharrell beat?
No, that's the it kind of almost sounds like a Kanye beat, but it's here, let's see if you can hear it. This one.
Yeah, so but does it say who made the beat on the song?
Let me see. No, Soundwave. It's like 5 people, and I've never heard of like 4 of them.
But so which one was the Pharrell beat then?
The Pharrell beat was Mr. Morale. That was the jungle sounding one that sounded like Kanye would have produced it.
Got you. Yeah. Okay.
Towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end. I think at that point you're just like exhausted. But then he hits you with Mirror, and Mirror's a banger. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like fuck, dude. Okay, but yeah, Count Me Out, bro. Production wise, A1. I know why. This is a side. I know why they made N95 like a lead single per se with the video, because like it's still the same similar setup to like Family Ties. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been Family Ties Part 2, and I would have believed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and it's hype too, because I feel like that's the most like commercial he got on the album.
Yeah.
And people like he can't drop Mother I Sober or some shit and expect to get a reaction.
But he could drop Count Me Out though, and I think that would
for
do
sure.
I think that would do very well and visually as well. So yeah, Count Me Out is, dude, it's not even like close. Like that's number 1 for me. Like, and then like levels down is everything else, because that song is just like wow, like just phenomenal. And then everything else, I would go with what else? Oh, dude, so Rich Spirit, I just fucking love that song. Like everything about it, absolutely love. Yeah. And then Father Time, bro. Like that Sampa feature is phenomenal, even though he's British and mispronounced fucking layups. You know, like layups in the morning. But Father Time is just phenomenal, dude. Like I relate to that song on so many levels. Like I'm grateful that I have my dad around now. Like I don't know about you, like, you know, because obviously your parents are divorced as well, like mine. Like there's moments like, yeah, I have a dad. But then I see my other friends who have like a dad that's there every day. And like, that's a different experience. So like, there's sometimes where like, you're like, I remember being a kid and like being sad about like, yeah, he's around, but like, he's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's like, I feel like if you had that situation, that song really hits differently.
No, for sure. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. And to your point, just because you have a family or people in your life doesn't mean everything's like picture perfect. Like,
right.
You can have someone in your life and have a tumultuous relationship with them, and it can fuck with you and lead to trauma later on. I think a lot of people, especially at this age, are realizing how their childhood or even teen years shapes them, because I was naive and thought when I was 17 and my parents were divorced and this and that life was perfectly fine and what yada yada yada. But now that I'm older, I realize like certain things shifted how I think, how I view my own relationship with my wife, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad Kendrick.
Yeah, but even like on that, that's a great fucking point. I think I appreciate you being vulnerable. Like, but even like on that song, you start thinking about like not just the child's perspective. Now we're old enough that we're like, bro, our parents were just children too, who just had kids. Yeah. So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's wild to me at times where I think about like, yo, my dad was like 18 years old with like 3 kids. So clearly this motherfucker's not gonna know what to do with me because he's trying to figure out life. You know what I mean? And like those times when I would get mad at my mom about like, yo, but I want these Jordans. And she's like, I can't afford them. Like, and to me, I'm like, but you're a parent, figure it out. And it's like, bro, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah. These things that you don't understand as children. And I don't know if I become a parent, I feel like I would feel the urge to be just super transparent, like, yo.
Yeah, but even that can have its traumas, right? Like, it's like, it can make your child's like so defeated. Like, yo, why even try? You know what I mean? Like,
and do we have like case studies on how we're supposed to approach this shit? Because, you know, everyone can say, well, truth is, you know, the best way to teach someone and just being transparent. But what if that truth scares and traumatizes that motherfucker? Then what?
Yeah, there's no right way, dude. That was my mom's favorite line, and I always make tease her. But yeah, like, she's like, when I had you, there was no handbook, and I was like, all right, man, I get it. Like, I'm aware. Like, it was hard. Like, I'm not saying that, but again, as a child, it's so hard to process. Like, that song brought me those thoughts. Like, yeah, like, you can be mad at your dad, but then like, as we get older, like, yo, we're that dad, or we're gonna be that dad one day, and it's like, you're not gonna have your shit together, and you may legit think you're trying your best. And that child may hate you because you're not around. You know what I mean? Like, because you're the single dad now and you have a kid and you're working to provide for that kid. But while you're providing, he's at home resenting you because you're never home. It's just like, bro, there's so many different dynamics. So that's why, father time hit. And then again, Sampa on anything is going to be fucking flawless.
Yeah. And completely unrelated, but I watched this documentary on Tila Tequila. I don't know if you remember her.
I remember her, dude. Yeah.
Long story short,
she's alive still, right?
She's alive, but she's absolutely fucking nuts. Maybe not on this planet she's alive, but in her head she's somewhere. And long story short, she married the heiress of Johnson & Johnson or some shit. Filthy rich woman. I guess she's lesbian. And her dad is obviously filthy rich, probably with multi-billions. But he was never around, and she like became this rebellious child.
The Tequila or the other chick?
The other chick. Like, she's just straight up rebellious. Like, and it's insane because people don't realize that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of spoiled rich kids out there that, you know, get what they want, do what they want, but they don't realize like a lot of these kids have mental issues because they're not getting the affection they actually need. And I actually knew a couple of people like that. One of them is a straight up psychopath. But yeah, I'm glad that Kendrick shed light on all these different perspectives because
there's a line even that he says, I know a whole bunch of millionaires who feel lonely.
Right. The grass is always greener.
We've been saying that shit. We've been saying that shit.
Right. But then when you go to sleep at night, you're like, damn, I could really
use like $10 million right now. Yeah, dude. Yo, I'm telling you, man, that was probably the most refreshing part about it, dude. Like, again, there's always space for the Gunners and Thugs, not because I know they're not. I'm just saying because we enjoy their music. The Drakes, the whatevers, bro. There's space for A Boogies. There's space for everyone. But man, it's so refreshing when you just see some shit and you're just like, bro, this is different shit right here, dude.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. So again, I think you bump it anywhere. At least most songs. So yeah, shout out to him. So what was the last point we wanted to talk about before we dipped out of here? So, before we final grade, what would you grade this overall? Like, just make it one album.
Overall, like a letter grade?
Yeah.
Letter grade. I guess if A+ is the highest.
A+ the highest. F the worst.
I'd say probably an A. I feel like he just hit all the points that I needed. He had a few slappers in there. He had a few fun tracks, a few introspective stuff that I won't probably revisit, but was powerful nonetheless. And yeah, I just don't know how else he could have done this better, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna go with an A as well. I mean, A+. Yeah, I guess the only way I would make it an A+, you tell me if you feel similar. Like, it's just like if every song was like something I'm repeating over and over.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. And I don't know. I mean, Good Kid, Mad City, for instance, I feel like had that. Like, there was nothing
majority
on there
of every
that
song was like,
like, this is purely just, you know, almost like a poem he's just tossing on here.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think if there's a little bit more replay value, then it'd get the plus.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, A grade all day, bro. This is just a different level, best body of work we've heard in years, any artist. And yeah, man, it leads to the last question of the episode. Do you think this is it? Do you think he's
Yeah.
5 and done? Do you think this is the last album we're getting?
I mean, if this is it, then A-, because
Yeah.
the replay value, like if you're gonna leave this shit with us, make the whole fucking thing replayable. But
he gave you 18 songs though.
I don't know. I never believe any of these rappers when they say they're done, just because this is literally their passion. I know Kendrick took off 5 years, which is a long ass time, but he was making music. It just wasn't on the scene posting all fucking day about what he was doing. And I feel like if this is your passion, it's like, what else do you do? There's nothing to do. So I don't see him retiring. I just don't see him being like a Drake or whoever else releasing an album every couple years. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just doing shit with Keem here and there.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
a
true.
joint album.
Retiring could be such a loose phrase. Like,
right. And I think he's what? That's his last album with TDE. So
yeah,
I feel like this is obviously the last chapter with them, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does a bunch of stuff with Keem and whoever else. Maybe not his own solo thing in the near future, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a collab project or something.
Bro.
Which would be insane.
Insane, dude. Like I was looking at they released like immediately like the tour, and like the only, because he's performing at Rolling Loud, so he's not doing a Miami show. He's doing a show in Tampa. And I'm just like, bro, don't make me drive to Tampa on a Wednesday, dog. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'll have to though. I might have to, but
I'd be tempted.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
I've done that drive once, but that shit was brutal.
Where, from South Florida to Tampa?
I did it from Miami to Tampa. That was back when I was visiting Sarah Kim with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long ass time ago. I forget when. I don't even know if I knew you at this point.
Probably not, dude.
I don't think I did.
Yeah,
this was like,
that drive is like, at least for Miami, that's probably like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, so we just gunned it to, what's that, Bushwick Gardens or whatever?
Busch Gardens.
Is that Busch Gardens?
Yeah,
we drove down to
is
there
in
and
Brooklyn.
Yeah. No, I was like, it's definitely not Florida, what I'm about to say. Busch Gardens. Yeah, we drove down there and drove back same day.
Oh, that's wild, fam.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have 3 people who can drive, I guess not terrible.
I drove the whole way though, both times.
Bro, you wildin', dog, because that's 4 hours in the car and then 4 hours of probably exhaustion at the park.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, somehow made it work.
Now,
we had a convertible, so I was feeling myself that week.
That's fire. Yeah. If I do it, it's definitely going to be like, I'm going to get a hotel afterwards because there's no way I'm working that day. But yeah, dude, I don't know. My thing is like, who am I? Everything on the album, content-wise, sounds of someone who, yes, clearly loves the craft, but is over the expectation that he has to try to live up to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one thing to say, like, I'm not your savior, blah, blah. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But like putting out an album makes you that person regardless.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I can see him being like, bro, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I can literally, I saw like a thing with him in some famous DJ where like he like lost like hundreds of songs on his hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just see him at home. Big Boy, yeah. I can see him just like recording at home and inviting friends over and them saying, I should, like, and getting their reaction. But I can also see him like, I don't want to fucking be your favorite rapper. Like, I also don't care. So I'm going to lean towards he is not going to drop an album ever again.
That's a bold
I hope
prediction.
I'm wrong. Dude, like, the idea of a Baby Keem and Joy album, I'm all for that.
The reason why I think that might be more feasible just because then, or maybe it's a Keem thing and he takes more of a backseat, and that way he doesn't have to
live up to
any expectations, because it's like, oh, this is just a TDE, or not TDE, but if he does a joint thing with Schoolboy Q or whoever, I feel like he's still gonna find a way to release music, but it's just gonna be like a verse here and there. And and if people call the verse mid, whatever, like it's not gonna fuck his perfect track record right now.
Yeah, no, I agree completely, dude. But yeah, I just lean towards that because like clearly he's human. So like he's been hearing all this shit that we've all been saying for the past 5 years. And dude, it just sounds like someone who's like, why do you care about this? You know what I mean? Like the world is literally ending and you're fucking worried about like, is he dropping an album? Like that's like I feel like throughout there was like a sense of like ironic nature of the album too. Like you really care about this? Like you care about like on, I think it was N95. Like it's like remove that shit, remove that. It's like you're ugly as fuck. You know what I mean? Like why are we worried about this? So like I know that makes me like again. I don't think he ever just raps to rap. So if he says it, I'm gonna believe him just based off his other things. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think for me, I'm just thinking of all the many rappers who've not only once but like multiple times have claimed they're gonna retire, like Lupe and Logic and all these guys, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
But granted, they're not like going on these press runs releasing major albums. It'll be like a little ass EP or like a freestyle or features on this and that. So I could see him going that route. As far as a whole nother album, if we do get one, I don't think that shit's coming out for like fucking 6 years or 7 years.
Dude, 20 it's gonna be 2030 something.
Yeah, 2030. Like once we're all in the metaverse or some shit, then he might release something.
Yeah. It's gonna just like upload. Like, oh, there it is. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, because again, this album also sounds like someone who was exhausted by the end of it. Mm-hmm. Like, yo, he's like, bro, I gave you everything. Like, I got nothing left for you right now. Right. So, like, I know, just like the way he sounded and like the relief of getting it out. I don't know. I just like to your point. Either it's not going to be another album ever, or we're waiting another 5 or 6 years. Like, that's for sure.
Yeah. Or if he ends it here, you know, I think that would be a high note to leave on. But given like his very feisty, like smoking on your top 5 type lyrics and stuff, I feel like there still is that competitive spirit in him. So I could see him taking another long ass break. But if Kanye and Drake and all these other guys and J. Cole continue to like run the game and it's not flooded by like Dirks and Gunnas, I could see Kendrick coming back like to talk more shit if any of these guys need to be humbled, even if it's just a song.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's a great, even if it's just like a song, like a 3-song EP, for sure. So I guess a better question that I'll answer myself is that, and jump in as well, like I think Kendrick Lamar today believes he's retiring and not putting out another album. Yeah. That's a better statement. I think he personally believes right now that he's not dropping another album ever again. Yeah. Now, will that work out that way? Time will tell. God will tell. But I think right now, mentally, he's like, I'm done. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm sure he's exhausted. And yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah, especially you're about to go on a tour that you haven't done a tour in like 4 or 5 years. Like, that's pretty fucking wild. But plus, now's the perfect time because now he gets to, Baby Keem can be like his little vessel. Yeah. That takes the torch from him kind of, and you can just watch him succeed for several years. Yeah, because there's even lyrics that you can tell how much love there is. I know they're family, but you know, I don't love everyone in my family. You know what I mean? So like there's like this is not just like a guy who he like signed and wants to put like this is like, yo, you're everything to me. So like I can totally agree. Yeah, with that. Keem kissed him in the cheek in that N95 video. Oh, really? I was high as fuck. When they were running through the thing or whatever, and then Kendrick turns around or whatever. Yeah, dude, I love like this shit is hard. Like those the words popping up. Yeah, dude, it's just so good, so well done. All right, man. So that's the full episode, focusing only on Kendrick. So the Kendrick Lamar episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Bro, let the people know where to peep this and what else we got going on. Yes, sir. Catch us at www.audio-theory.com. We have all the episodes on all platforms on the website, so check that out. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else. TikTok, we're getting up and running on there as well. We also have merch. We're not wearing them currently, but super fire. If I do say so myself, we have the best logo on the internet when it comes to podcasts, at least. So definitely check that out. New episode every week. I think the major upcoming thing is we have an interview with Johan Lennox, who's a phenomenal artist. He's worked with Mike Dean and Travis and all kinds of artists that you've heard of and see. So we have part 2 of that interview coming up next week. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, tell your friends, share, like everything. Absolutely. And shout out to our sponsors at Fear as well for always helping and sponsoring the pod, Audio-Theory, and for the promo code in the link below. But yeah, dude, great episode. Appreciate your takes and vulnerability as always. Love you, bro. And we'll talk soon.
Peace.
Peace.